Welcome to the Toffee TV Podcast. No idea what episode number
19.
19, is that what it is? No, 19.
Yeah.
Paul Hardcastle?
It is Paul Hardcastle. 1985, I think.
Was it that? Was it more like 87?
I don't know Paul Hardcastle.
What, 86?
Do you know Paul Hardcastle?
I thought there was only 14 numbers in the 80s.
Have you ever not heard of the song 19?
No. Of Vietnam.
Vietnam. Some lad from like his bedroom in Croydon decided to do a song about Vietnam.
Like the Rolling Stones did.
I mean, I'll take your word for it. The average age of people who died in the Vietnam War was 19, so we wrote a catchy tune about it, because that's exactly what you do, isn't it?
Fair enough.
Sending a message of how sad it was. The lads of 19.
Yeah.
But Everton are not sad anymore, are they? Swiftly moving on.
There you go.
Picking up the
The
mood.
baton there. Yeah, and then did another song which became the theme tune for Top of the Pops.
Oh, back into Vietnam, eh?
No, that
America
one
wouldn't go back though, would they?
That one wasn't called Vietnam. That one wasn't called Vietnam.
No.
That was called something more
Upbeat.
upbeat. I can't really remember.
Career?
He did get a great career out of it. Got a really good career out of it. Yeah. Very good career out of it.
The Savile beat.
The what? The what now?
Nothing.
So, what?
Bronski beat, I think
Yeah,
you said.
Bronski beats. Yeah. Jimmy Sullivan.
I watch your window.
People love singing, let's be honest. They love the singing.
I mean, that's what they come for.
Yeah, see, it's all
Come
it is.
for the football, stay for the Bronski beats.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy Somerville.
What are you
Like
arguing
a
about?
spud.
Like, why do people do that?
Was he a
He's had a
martyr?
great career.
No, I'm saying,
great life.
Where did he go? He was big. Well, he wasn't big. He was
wasn't
only
big.
5 foot nothing, but he was doing well.
Yeah.
And then he just disappeared.
The scene moved on. The scene literally moved on.
What? Stop walking.
Did you ever see him? No, Bronski beat that. They literally replaced him with like a lookalike.
So like Paul McCartney and the Beatles?
No, but because what was different is that they
He
actually
didn't
told
say
people
that his
Right,
name wasn't
okay, yeah.
Jimmy.
the Beatles was
Ultimate
different.
Warrior?
Did he replace Ultimate
No,
Warrior?
he just stopped taking steroids. So he looked different, but we'll move on.
Allegedly.
No, he did.
Oh, he did?
admitted it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got caught, said failed drug test, so it's okay, we can say that.
Oh, okay.
Wait, and then died.
Yeah, tragic. No.
He wasn't tragically. He just died. I mean, well, you know.
It's not the first or the last wrestler.
No. Kevin, do you ever remember Fake Diesel?
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
Kevin
Nash's ugly brother. That was Kane, though.
Yeah, and Fake
Razor.
Razor Ramon.
Yeah.
There you go.
Fake Razor
You
Ramon.
wouldn't get this in any other podcast.
It'd be-
You wouldn't
it'd be
go
like
from the
fake-
Vietnam War to Jimmy
Jimmy
Somerville.
But imagine EastEnders, though, right?
a
Phil Mitchell
Bronski
just
beat.
like they didn't like him anymore, and they just brought fake Phil
What
Mitchell
do you
in.
do? They've done loads of fake people in soaps. What are you talking
Well, I suppose
about?
Martin Fowler's fake, though, but you know.
There's loads of fakes in there.
No, but Phil Mitchell, he's like a big character, you know.
You couldn't
like the
fake Phil
Minshalls.
Mitchell.
Couldn't fake
unless Ross Kemp did it. That'd be the
Yeah,
ultimate
yeah.
irony. That he just like grew stubble and pretended he was Phil.
No, the ultimate irony would be, what if Ross Kemp came to Albert Square with a film crew as Ross Kemp doing the gangs,
Like the gangs
of the East End,
yeah.
and he had to
And
go
he had
and
to go
see
to Phil Mitchell.
but he was playing.
So he wasn't playing Grant Mitchell.
No, he
No,
was
he was
being
Ross Kemp.
himself, Ross Kemp.
What's
Like a
him?
documentary, and they could get all Man United in Albert Square about a documentary coming in, and Ross Kemp turns up.
And
we're here, gangs of Albert Square.
Gangs of Albert Square.
This is where it goes on.
Gangs.
The
Oh,
Mitchell
that's-
brothers.
The Mitchells.
Where's he gone? Grant Mitchell and all that.
Yeah, you could go, where is Grant Mitchell? And like look at the camera, and you'd be looking at the camera back thinking,
It's you, isn't it?
So you just jump side to side and do the different voices.
didn't they do that in they've done that in a couple of films, didn't they do that in they did that in Ocean's 12, where Julia Roberts was in the first one,
Yeah,
Ocean's
yeah.
11, and then she played herself in the second one as
That's
Julia Roberts, and they also did it in what's Dingo? What was her name? Dingo's what's her name?
Mrs. Jones.
Thingio. Because you said that 3
Is she
times.
married
The
to
Renée Zellweger played the
Oh, yeah.
English girl. What's her name?
Bridget Jones.
Bridget Jones in the second Bridget Jones film.
Bridget Jones, isn't it?
No, Colin Firth played himself,
But he also plays.
but he's
the
also
Paladin.
plays Colin Firth. There you go.
I'm really confused.
So really, Ross Kemp playing Ross Kemp wouldn't be.
Do you think it'd be a stretch for his acting abilities to play himself?
He'd just go, "I really love you."
He was brilliant.
Like he's having a
He was
dump.
brilliant in Extras.
What do you think he'd be like when the chimes go off on the 31st? No, when everyone's paid the money, because we're all donating. There should be a special like badge you can buy that helps the cause. Not the cause, obviously.
Yeah.
The what Big Ben cause?
The Big Ben cause.
You love the Big Ben cause.
I
You keep mentioning
I
it.
know. I think it's tremendous. I think it's mad that a load of lunatics think paying £500,000 to wear some bells at midnight is just literally the maddest thing on earth. I mean, it's not the maddest thing on earth.
It's not the maddest thing on earth.
Australia's on fire and the ice shelf in the Arctic's about to fall off.
Are they related though?
Well, they are related, actually, like literally directly
Fire and Ice is called.
I mean, yeah,
Always
this is
been
real life Game of Thrones. I seen something today, just moving on, just before we get into the football. That a star is about to explode very soon. A star's
Is
going
it
to
a
go.
dwarf star?
No, it's going to go supernova, and they reckon it's.
Champagne.
We'll all be able to see it from Earth. That's how big it's going to be. They reckon in the next 100,000 years. But
it's very close.
It's very close.
So within the next 100,000 years.
Well, we won't be seeing it, will we? I'll be lucky to see the
chimes.
No, Halley's Comet. Halley's Comet, because it's 1986 when I was born, and it'll be 2086, won't it?
Don't put yourself down.
It'll be 2076, isn't it? No, it's every 77 years.
You're right, sorry, I was wrong. It's 54, I think it's coming back, yeah.
Don't put yourself down.
Yeah, you might still be around.
Thanks, guys.
Just keep at it.
Keep trucking.
Keep
Don't
on
give
trucking.
up.
That was my fake truck sound, by the way.
Kate Bush, Peter Gabriel, don't give him that bit on Bronski beating Communion, that's my view.
I like Kate
Same
Bush
era.
for Other Nights.
Heathcliff.
Yeah.
It's me.
Kathy.
It's Kathy.
Yeah.
I've come home.
Partridge version was the best. I like the one when she was at the top of a hill chasing storms.
Cloudbuster.
That's the one. But who was her dad in the video? You should know this. Being the man.
It wasn't my dad, so
Paul
why should I know?
Hardcastle.
It was
Christopher Walken.
What? No.
He'd be like that.
I really want to do his voice.
It's terrible.
Christopher Walken.
It was.
Heathcliff.
It was. Go ahead, Heathcliff. Stuck up my ass for 3 years.
It was.
It was Kiefer Sutherland's dad.
Donald.
Big Donny.
Big Don.
Big Don.
And I only mentioned that because Baz loves Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Because he loves 24.
Oh, right. I
love Jack Bauer.
I thought you were a big fan of like Lost Boys or something like that. No. Well, that weird film with Sally Fielding where he plays a murderer in it.
No, you've lost me.
Yeah,
You've lost it. You've lost.
It's a bit of a 90s B movie.
Is it? He went through that phase. He was a bit of a B movie.
He was. Yeah.
He had his early 80s like success, obviously being in the Lost Boys, and then took a little bit of a nosedive, and then came back as.
Did you see that?
I mean, there's a lovely link there because when he should have been marrying Julia Roberts, he was with a lady of the night, wasn't he?
But unfortunately, Jason
On his
Patrick
wedding
stole Julia Roberts off Kiefer Sutherland.
Well, I think when you should be turning up at the church and you with
Lady of the Night.
someone that you've paid for, rather than.
Well, but Hugh Grant went there when he had Liz Haley. That was a mistake of a lifetime, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
He's had a mare there.
Yeah.
I don't know because you know
He's had
what?
a great career.
He's done well, and to be fair to Liz Haley, she's miles better now than she was about 20 years ago.
Yeah,
she was walking around in dresses with safety pins in, which we
mind
all
that.
appreciated.
That's
But-
easy fix, isn't it?
But Hugh wanted to go in a different route.
With the camera.
Didn't he? I mean, it looks like Emu turned up, from the 80s back to the 70s.
No, 19. Anyway,
Listen to the song.
so
There was footy, and we won.
Saturday we played a team,
Brighton, yeah.
Brighton, Albion, Hove, and
Hove of.
Brighton and Hove Albion. But Brighton, Hove and Albion.
It's not really a game you can get too in depth with.
no, I mean
is it?
I think we've illustrated that by the start of the podcast.
Yeah. We won. Good performance. You see little hints of the style coming out, and I think as we get more and more training time under Carlo, we'll see a much better performance. But
I think after the week we'd had, we just needed a win, and nothing else mattered. And it was never going to be one of those games at Goodison Park that was going to, get the imagination fired up, was it? I mean, it's Brighton at the end of the day, and it was one of those games that it should have been a 2-0. It possibly could have been a 3-0. And we would have been all very comfortable and all very happy. And it was just that it was a 1-0. So the last 10, 15 minutes become a little bit dodgier. And players probably got a little bit nervous themselves. But we got over the line and it was, to be fair, it was a really, really good goal that won us the game.
Yeah, that sums it up perfectly. We were the better team. It should have been a bigger margin. They were poor. And no one could have complained if it had been from their side. No one could have complained if it had been 2 or 3-0. Pickford's made one save in the game. So, you know, in a week like we'd had, and it you know, it was proper, just Everton won it, you know, with what we do. There was a lot of pressure on the game for the simple reason that people went to Goodison going, right, you owe us, so we're going to sit here, you need to perform. The atmosphere, you know, wasn't great. It was quite muted, which you know, felt a bit like a New Year's Day game. But, you know, so for the players who were playing in that game and have to respond, there is a lot of edginess coming to the last 10 or 15 minutes in a game. You know you have to win and you've got something to throw away. Calvert-Lewin's goal would have stood. Then the last 15, 20 minutes would have been very comfortable. But as 1-0,
but then I think sometimes, I know we don't want this, but I think Everton need to learn how to win games 1-0 because under Marco Silva, obviously we seem to throw away leads like no one's business at the time. So I think the fans will get more and more confident in the team can hold on.
Yeah.
Because the nerves creep in from the crowd, don't they, towards the end as well. And I think obviously Carlo's instilled a bit more of a winning mentality in them. So hopefully that continues. Obviously, I know people are obviously looking to Europe, but let's take each game as it comes and see where we end up.
Yeah, after a game like that, you look at what got you the win, and maybe, you know, there's a lot being said about the substitutions as well. And all you can do is learn from it, isn't it? And as a fan, you've got to learn from it as well. Is that if you get a couple of them kind of games, I mean, really, it was a quite comfortable game. Yeah. It just didn't have that second goal.
The bar, didn't he, I suppose.
Everton have got to learn to have that composure at 1-0 to go on and win the game. And I thought we did for the most part. We just didn't get it. And then Brighton have obviously got nothing to lose then. Throw everything at us. We changed the system. We changed, you know, the subs were quite defensive, which will happen. He's Italian, that's what will happen. And as a fan, you've got to just learn how to deal with that as well. That nervousness, because as you said, people went there. It wasn't toxic. It wasn't horrible. No. It wasn't over the top. It was more like, I'm just going to sit here today. I mean, that's the way I felt. I was just like, I'm just going to sit here today, and it's up to you to sort of wrong some rights from the week before. But at the same time, I was still very mindful that we'd had a really good 4 or 5 weeks, and it wasn't just going to get thrown away just because of one really poor performance or one really poor half against, you know, that Liverpool side.
Is it not though that's the problem with football now? Is everything's in a microcosm, and we are as a fan base, and a lot of fan bases are week to week. And every game is so big, and it's over. And it's, you know, we don't go through a game where we go, all right, we're past that game now. People are still going, oh, those subs, what was he doing? You know, we won the game at the end, and I know I do that, and obviously that's part of me analysing games. But I think when we win, you don't have to go, well, he was still bad in that game. It's become so. And opinions of players are so week to week as well. You know, you look at like Holgate has one bad game. We always knew he was bad. People he didn't have a bad game, by the way, but that's an example of how it works. And I think we just have to see a bigger picture. I've
seen that. The perfect example of that was the week before. I'd seen people criticising the Charlison and his attitude. He's not good enough. He sulks. His attitude's terrible. This, that, and the other. And yet he scores that goal on Saturday. And people are like, the only good player we've got. Yeah. And these are, don't get me wrong, there's a hell of a lot of fans who don't think like that. No. But you see that, and that happens with all kinds, with all the players. And you're right, it's you have to learn how to win football matches. It's 1 goal conceded in the last 4 at Goodison. Since Norwich beat us, we've only conceded 1 goal at home, and that was November. So we're in January. You know, we've like I said the other day, if you want to throw stats around, we're at a 75% win rate under Carlo Ancelotti in the Premier League. So that's quite good.
We're beating teams that we didn't at the start of the season. Now remember, we couldn't break teams down and score goals against your Burnleys. We couldn't do it. So now we've reversed that, right? So that's a plus. Plus.
Like Ped said, since we walked out of Anfield on, you know, the first embarrassing derby on December the 4th, we've lost 1 game, and that was against the champions in the Premier League. It was against the current champions, who were still a good side. So people have to remember that. You know, if we'd have sat here on the Thursday after the night, you know, after the day after Anfield, and said, be coming up to West Ham away on the 18th of January, Everton will have only lost 1 league game, we'd have all gone, yeah, all right then. And that's what's transpired, you know.
I think short-termism has been the big problem, but that comes from that comes from what's been going on the last 4 years at the club.
Patience,
and that's what I'm really hoping now becomes the big thing, is that no fan can really criticise this manager, Carlo Ancelotti. You know, we were both at the general meeting last night, which we'll speak about in part 2, and just listening to him and is just the air he has around him, and just him he said, like, you know, I hope I'm here for a long time. And
there's a lot of kids to give jobs to. Yeah,
well, exactly. And listening, you know, I've been listening to his book, and him saying, you know, I'm talking about, like, you know, he takes every job like he's going to be there forever, but always plans like he could be out the next day. And I think that's the way we should be thinking about him, is that this guy is going to be here hopefully for a long time. And if that happens, you know, then he's going to do a good job, and he's going to be pushing for those European places if he's given the backing, and Marcel Brands can get the people out the club, and that should give us as fans a little bit of confidence. Well, a lot of confidence, really, but also just let's start getting behind the project then, because you know, we're on 28 points now. You know, in real terms, we're 4 wins away from the magic 40 mark, which we'll get no problem. And I think in the meantime, between now and the end of the season, he'll have a look at all the players. You know, he brought Michael Keane in for this game, put Yerry Mina on the bench. He might do something similar Saturday against West Ham.
Everyone's back in training.
You know, we've got, you know, players coming back from injury now. He'll get a good look at everybody. Brands will try and get a few people, start making plans to who you can get in and out. And I think now is the time to just get behind them. The derby, that's gone. The whole disaster. We know what's come from that, and it's just now time to get behind the whole project.
I think the people haven't got patience because we haven't won for a long time. So I do understand as I'm a fan. Obviously, I look at things both sides, but I think, like, you're right in the sense that, you know, we have to think we've got people in the right jobs now. As you say, whether you like, you know, whether you like Carlo or not, you can't question his resume. It's, you know, it's unreal. And in the sense that, so there's not many, Everton probably can't get a better manager than Carlo. So there's no second guessing of it. So have that confidence that he's going to take us to where we need to be. And that's all we can do. We just have to go along with it instead of, you know, we're gonna lose a couple of games. It's going to happen. You know, we can't live and die by every loss. We need to see the bigger picture. These players are playing for the place next season and the season after now, and they have to show Carlo that they're going to be good. You know, I think he said a couple of things last night about that at the AGM, didn't he? That, you know, certain players have to show before the end of the season and do the worth, and that's true. But I think the fans just need to be a bit patient, and I understand that people have got the opinions about Marcel Brands, and I think they'll work together well. I think that, you know, that Carlo raises the profile of the club. He'll raise the type of players we can get. I wouldn't say we're going to be buying, you know, your world superstars quite yet, because we're not getting the Champions League, but we'll sign good players, and I think it'll work out quite well. And it allows Brands, probably, as you've said in the past, Bert, he doesn't have to be the face of the club anymore. Carlo is Everton now, so Brands can do his little bits in the background.
Yeah, it's about calmness. You know, we've got a world-class manager in place. We've got a director of football in place. Stadium stuff, progression. You've got to... I understand it. I mean, we're less patient now than we were under Martinez when things didn't look like they were improving, you know, after the first season. And that's a bit mad, but I understand it because obviously Koeman come in and Walsh and the money's arrived and things haven't gone the way we want them to. But we can't keep questioning every manager, otherwise we're never going to get anywhere.
No,
we're never going to get anywhere.
Well, and it's funny because you just mentioned there we've got a world-class manager in place. We've got a world-class manager, but not only got a world-class manager, he's got the right temperament about him.
Yeah.
Like, you know, listen, if we got Benitez, people will be questioning Benitez, and I appreciate that. If we got, let's say, Mourinho, I'm not saying we would have, but if we had a Mourinho,
Thank God.
we know that how up and down he is, and that would, I think, rub off on our fans because he is so emotional. We've now got a manager who actually his personality fits what we need more than anyone. Like, no, like just like last week when he's questioned about the fans who went down to Finch Farm, his reaction towards that happens in Italy all the time, and that was it, and that was done. It was done, and there was he shut it down. And every time I hear him speak, he does that. He's like they shove a problem in his face, and he goes, "Yeah, I've seen that before. Because guess what? I've managed all over Europe at top clubs. I've seen every scenario you can throw at me. This isn't new. It might be new to this club, but I've seen it, and that's what I think's fantastic about the appointment, and why." Listen, I think everyone's behind it. I don't see people who are against it. But why? The patience has to be there. So when at this game the subs come on and I'm sitting here bewildered by them, I have to just go to myself, you know that nothing compared to this man. This man has forgotten more in the last 5 minutes than you've ever known about football. So therefore, sit down and shut up. And actually, that's very hard for me.
I wasn't bewildered by his subs at all. The only one that I went was the Yerry Mina one, but I understand exactly why he did it. He put Coleman on because Sadivi was all over the place. I understand. And they'll come on to try and get hold of the midfield. I wanted Moise Keane to come on because you'd always want an attacker to kill the game. But
if you're not going to attack and you're going to defend,
but he wanted the game to be won. And Andy said it before. Or Ped, one of you said it before, we've got to learn how to win games 1-0. The team at the top of the league has won more games this season by the odd goal than they have in the last 4. So that's what happens. Good teams are able 1-0 to the Arsenal from years ago, and if we can start being able to protect a goal lead, everyone will get confidence and will get calm, and you won't get that panicky thing steeping around the stadium. When they go away from home and they're 1-0 up, they can call on that experience. And you just said about Ancelotti there, he is the perfect mentality because of his standing in the game. When he gives that answer to the press, people just go, oh yeah, all right, because you have seen it. You've worked with Perez, you've worked with Galliani, you've worked with Bayless, the other kid, the Laurentiis, who's a nutter. He's worked with owners and he's been able to shut them down. He protects his team, which is what he does, and that in turn builds all the trust. So us as fans just trust him. I want Everton. He went on, we were at the general meeting last night, and he talked about they were bigging up the reception he got against Burnley. It was incredible, it was this and that. That isn't good, isn't he? I said to Paddy, he hasn't heard anything yet.
He hasn't heard the bear.
He's not heard anything yet. So let's put a lasting impression on this fella of what Goodison Park can be like. I want him, the hairs on his neck standing up, because that's what it does to us. When we're on it and it's bouncing, that'll be something that he will never forget. And when he experiences it, he'll want it again and again and again, and then he can get that across to his players. He's the perfect man because of the temper. I think you're absolutely right. Mourinho is a fantastic manager, but he's up and down. He gets a cob on, he argues, he's this, emotional. Benitez is a brilliant technical manager, but does he inspire? Likes a bit of conflict, and also the minute we hit a rocky patch, which we will under this manager, because you do under every manager, the knives would have been out. This fella is a calming influence right the way through, and for a club that is, let's be honest, is entering a critical stage of its history in terms of the stadium and the new owner and everything, and we're trying to build this team up to a team. They said it last night again at the general meeting. The long-term goal of this team is to be in the Champions League, is to be trying to win trophies. Yeah. To get there, you have to be calm, you have to back everything, and trust is the biggest word I would use, and we have to learn to trust.
We do. The only one thing I'll say, the parting thing, is Carlo brings expectation, but we need to be realistic about how quickly he can bring it. Of course. It's not, we're not just going to go win the league next season. People need to be realistic. We probably can spend money in the summer.
What do you say to the caveat to that, also, when people go Leicester City?
That's an outlier, though. I agree. It can be done. It can be done, but it's an outlier. So entering the season,
section rather than the rule.
Yeah. So Everton shouldn't expect to win the title. If we do, oh my God, great! I'll just leave it. But you can't expect it.
Just before we move on, the goal was absolutely in this game. Everton did play some nice football at times, and again, probably what was a little bit frustrating was just the final ball wasn't quite there. But I thought Bernard was magnificent until he tired. In that area, Andy, you spoke before about we're seeing little things in games now. That Bernard coming off the left and playing centrally and pulling, outnumbering, which is something Ancelotti talks about. We talked about it the other week, the overload, didn't we? And Bernard doing that role is absolutely brilliant, because it sucks the defender inside. And I thought he was key, but the goal was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant, wasn't it? It was great feet.
I think the pass by the team was good. It was first time out of his feet. He right into his feet. And then Richarlison obviously does what a goal scorer does in the box. He comes alive, drags it one way, drags it the other, and then puts it in the corner. Very Gosling-esque.
It was a great goal. It was good that it was a fitting goal to win the game if you're going to win it 1-0.
Naturally,
the best bit of quality in it, and that was the difference. And I suppose in terms of Everton, and the rest, we've got that quality. That's what actually separates us from clubs like Brighton and it was that thing, that you were hinting at early in the season, is when we have got a better squad, but the other players have to do the hard work, and that was always my concern, that they weren't doing the hard work to allow the quality to come through. Yeah. And I think with the organisation and what's been asked of them in the last month, we've started to find that hard work, and we're starting to. And what's good about hard work is, if certain people are doing it, it weans out the people who aren't doing it, and then you start seeing what is required. So, and that's what the best teams have. Like the teams at the top have hard work, and it's the quality that wins the game. But the hard work can win the game when you're good as well. But if you're underperforming, you won't. You because you'll go and concede. This is what you talked about Martinez before. This is the problem when we had Martinez. Certainly in the second season and the third season, even more. We had quality, but people didn't work hard. No. So therefore, the classic case was when we got beat by Stoke. Was it 5-4?
4-3.
4-3, sorry.
Yeah,
and Lukaku scored a couple of goals, and he scored.
And he was
and then he's looking at the defenders when they're giving away cheap goals. Looking and going, what?
Shaqiri lobbed the keeper. Yeah.
But he's looking at the defence in the second
half.
Don't
forget we went in 3-2 up in that game.
But he's looking at the defence in the second half when we're conceding soft goals, going, what? How can I do any more? I'm scoring 24, 25 goals a season, and you're giving up stupid goals. And that
Bournemouth game, we lost 3 points because of that. There was the Chelsea game, similar.
Exactly.
Very same. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's got to be the hard work, and when the hard work meets the talent, that's when you will get propelled.
I think the big thing, Duncan Ferguson put that back in. Organisation, work hard, and now what you'll get is Ancelotti with all his experience and his ability can marry the two together. And if he marries the two together, we get what we've always said, and which is there's enough quality in this squad to get in the top 6 or 7. There is. It's whether or not that, like Ped said, you can be a team, and be a team means grinding out results, and that's what we started to
different
do.
Roles, exactly.
There you go. As you have both mentioned, it was the general meeting last night, and me and Baz were there, and we'll be back in part 2 to talk about it. Be right back. Part 2 of what? What are you doing?
You stay burst me. It was that Pearson clap.
Don't give away the secret.
The Nigel
podcast.
The Nigel clap.
We haven't got one of those things.
We have. So we're there.
Oh, all right. It's just a pile.
We got it from Harry Potter Land.
Nice.
There you go. It did have a
more
thing
to it.
Yeah,
but it's there.
Right.
It's part 2 of podcast. Thanks for that.
Andy ruining the magic.
Well, sorry, my eardrums are gone, but
literally ruining the magic of Harry Potter.
He is.
That's fake anyway. Whoops.
You'd make a good Hagrid.
You would make a good Hagrid. You would.
Not Ron Weasley.
You should become like a.
You're Ron Weasley after like
that's fair enough. Just because I've got ginger hair. I mean, that's just we are.
Oh, because I'm big.
We are the last like ginger racism is on the rise.
Actually, aren't you dying out? Because it's like
what? Because people are going around killing us.
I thought because global warming, climate change.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
basically blistering to death.
Keep it coming.
I'm actually not giving you any.
Got it all recorded. I'm a lawyer.
I don't give you any stick.
I'm telling me lawyer.
You give me heightism.
It's called like the No Souls Club.
No Soul Club.
No Soul Club. It's called. It's not allowed in Wigan.
Wigan had. We did this on the Footy Show years ago. Wigan had a ginger bus day where.
Ginger bus day?
Yeah, where you could get on a bus free if you had ginger hair. Wigan literally had it. It's a thing.
Now,
so you could have gone to Wigan and gone on any bus.
Is this like a comfy bus or something where they're all like pressed?
Do not say anymore. Right, honestly, do not say what you're thinking. Honestly, because this podcast will not make it to
listen, honestly, that was a thing.
The things you say.
Billy will research. Billy, while you're there, research ginger bus day in Wigan or something like that.
Also ginger bus day.
Not ginger
bus. That's a completely different thing.
That's a different thing.
No, but you could be like a stand-in for so many people. You could have been.
Samuel Tarley, that's what everyone says.
If you'd lived, look at the way you bust out the chocolate here.
Just getting depressed.
If you'd lived in Northern,
I know you two are about to go on a rant.
If you'd lived in Northern Ireland, right, in the last 5 years.
And go pause. What does it say?
Free bus travel for gingers.
I told you, it's a thing.
What was that one date? What was that date, Bill?
4th of December 2009. Ah, the Google machine, eh?
2009. The halcyon days of being a ginger.
We brought it back and
was the Fullertonians then?
No, it hadn't even started. If you'd been in Northern Ireland like the last 5 years, you could have been like a boss extra for Game of Thrones.
What,
you
the mountain rides?
Money.
You could have been the mountain stunt double.
I don't think so. He's a bit more muscly than I am, let's be honest.
You say that.
I'll be honest.
A week on the egg and you never know.
We're back on the Jesus juice.
Exactly.
Back on Joe.
We've been walking around like a damn at Sayori. If he'd have turned up.
We said that off air, didn't we? We just wanted to clarify. No, when we were talking about Jordan Henderson licking the tip of the spear. That was off air, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Just needed to clarify that.
You meant the spear of destiny.
Leave it there.
I told you not to mention Jordan Henderson licking the tip. I specifically said, don't mention Jordan Henderson
just
licking the tip.
Leave it there.
It's what I said.
The tip of the goalpost now, moving on.
Yeah.
I feel like
the AGM last night was interesting.
Was it?
It's
not as interesting as for bus travel.
It isn't. I told you.
Force him in a presentation.
A lot of things.
Spot,
imagine if Marcel Brands did a presentation on free bus travel for gingers in the northwest area.
I think Tom Cannon would have been fuming.
Tom Cannon would have put his hand up going, what about those people in wigs? Oh, that's a sit-up. Come on. Come on.
The views of Peter McPartland don't necessarily represent the views of Toffee TV.
That's
just like that clearly.
Let's be honest.
Someone put 10p in them, didn't they?
The AGM last night, we were present as proxies. It was interesting. It went on about half an hour too long for me.
I was on the train.
Said that like it was like some film. Oh yeah, well the third Avengers film went on as did the AGM.
The third act was poor.
It was too long.
I must admit, I only needed half of my seat because when Tom Cannon started to talk, I was that far down.
Yeah.
I had my jacket above my head, and I was halfway down my seat trying to crawl out the gaff.
I was looking at Marcel, thinking, is he just gonna jump over a seat and lamp him?
I thought he was going to go like John Wick. I thought he was just going to jump over like someone had just killed his dog and just doom in like.
I think Sasha was just going to go Baba Yaga. Therefore, was just going quiet.
I know, if there's an Everton board not to mess with now, it is this Everton board.
Well. And then you also had, Little Miss Dynamite was fuming as well.
Turn up the radio.
Oh my God! Every time he said that, I
felt more than once.
I felt like ripping my teeth out. Honestly, I was itching my gums.
Oh God!
Every time he said
it. What I will say about Tom Cannon was he had a lot of conviction. He fronted it up.
It was the sensationalism of the headline that caused
he was quoting Tim Cahill playing half an hour as a sub against Man City every year, and he was in our first team every time. And he had a couple of other inaccuracies, but he made some really good points as well across the whole director of football thing. It wasn't just Marcel Brands. Yeah. He did make some good points. I feel where his night probably got worse was when they asked who opposed it, and he was the only hand in the room. Yeah.
You mean when there was someone on stage going winking as he was putting his hands up?
It was a bit,
And then his wig fell off like Captain Hook in Hook. Remember when Dustin Hoffman pulled it off?
Shmee, get over here.
The views of Peter McPartland don't necessarily represent the views of the Toffee TV Corporation.
He could have been an excellent Hook as well. He could definitely have been.
I've got hair.
If you would have been in Ireland, I reckon Game of Thrones would have just written a piece for him. He'd have been in it.
Is about a foot shorter than me.
I'm not saying Bob. You would have been one of the Lost Boys.
Which one?
The big one.
There's a few to choose from.
The giant one who aged.
The tall one.
The one who could hold onto his feet and roll into a ball.
Oh, he was hilarious. Come on.
No one knows his name.
No.
You wouldn't have been Roofy.
No.
You couldn't have been Roofy.
No, Rufio. You're talking about that thing.
You know the AGM which we were supposed to talk about part 2?
Oh! Yeah. Okay. No, listen. It was an AGM, apparently.
It was an AGM.
Some wonderful presentations, world-class presentations.
Visits everywhere, visualizations.
I'd imagine. But you didn't think they were?
To be honest, I don't spend much time in other presentations,
so
there's no way I can compare.
Bar.
I can't compare. It's not like, if we got like the Oscars of presentations and they were nominated, then I go, well, I was there, it was a fine one. No, it's like when you see the Oscar nominations, which we've had this week, and you go, oh, I think so-and-so should win, but you haven't seen the film about the one-legged lesbian from Wales or something, do you know what I mean? And everyone's going, that's a great film, that. Do you know what I mean? You can't...
No, I get that's a good film.
You can't compare though, can you? Because you haven't seen, like, the film from South Korea about the mute with the donkey or something. You've never seen that film, so you can't compare. You're just going, Avengers was boss. Give up.
You are, yeah.
Give up. Or the Joker.
How do you flesh out this mute with the donkey?
I think it's a winner. I think it's a winner.
Why has he got a donkey?
Why is it mutants? Or is it mute?
No, it's a mute.
A mute donkey?
No,
that's not.
donkey.
No,
no,
donkey mute. Hang on, I need clarification.
Let me clarify, right. So, it's a blind woman from South Korea.
It's a woman.
Right, who's got a mute. Right, who's a mute. So has a donkey, but the donkey doesn't...
Hang on, so she's blind and she can't talk?
Yeah. She's definitely blind.
So, I mean, that's you stereotyping.
She's away from me.
So, the donkey does all the communicating for her. And so
is it mutant?
It's not a mutant, no.
Oh, it's a mute.
But the donkey is her link to the world.
It's stress donkey.
And so basically, it's a stress donkey. What, she doesn't squeeze it when she feels angry. Like that.
She might.
So the donkey, the donkey's her link to the world, and it's how she's strived to reach out to the world, and she won a Nobel Peace Prize, and that's basically the film.
I like it. I'm going to say Spielberg will direct that all day.
Well, to be fair,
I think it's difficult because she can't communicate. How does she know it's the donkey?
She doesn't know it's a donkey, though. That's the whole point. She thinks it's her husband. Her husband left her 15 years ago and left this donkey behind, and that's the genius of the piece. I
was going to say something, but I'm going to leave that donkey story for another day. I think she knows the difference.
In Mexico?
I think she knows the difference between a donkey and a husband.
I never go over the border. That's what I'm saying.
So, I asked you, because you were there at the AGM, what was the bigger news then? Was it the 30 million option of naming the stadium? Was the fact that Denise doesn't know that we're associated with a gambling company? Or was it the fact that Umani Ass and Hugo Martin no longer wanted the revenue?
They're on the list!
At the bottom.
I mean, I said, no, they weren't. They were in the top right-hand corner.
No, there was two lists. There was one where they were like, we're sorting this out. And in the in the top corner,
but when he had a picture of the squad with everyone fits in, I went to him,
bag on fire.
Why has he put them by the corner flag? The pair of them were up in the right-hand corner. Quite clearly, it was the USM purchasing.
You went dead serious.
You
talk USM, you have to go.
You're basically preaching to Vladimir Putin when you say it,
exactly. Purchasing the £30 million option for the naming rights. Hopefully that's just 10% of the naming rights. I think it's... Well, Man City got 400 million off the Etihad, who were owned by the owners of Manchester City, and that was cool. Then we could get 300 million off the owner of UCM, who also owns us, but no one... USM. UCM's his next company.
The University of Central Michigan.
University of Central Michigan. USM. Then,
I'd love to go to Michigan's accounting school, though. Wonderful number the numbers, that man, isn't he?
Dr. Nick Riviera takes it.
Hello, Jim.
No,
Gary's turned up.
Look at it. It was good presentations. No, it was. That was only the revealing thing. I thought the brands thing was really good. His presentation was really interesting. I thought they were just trying to sugarcoat the best way they could. The losses, weren't they? They were just trying to get a takeaway from it. But it was interesting because that will boil some people's water because the idea of getting 30 million for essentially nothing. It's a sweetener, isn't it? It's not even a sweetener. It's nothing.
A bribe.
It's not even a bribe, is it? You said that it's not a bribe.
It is. It's not. Let me frame of why
the views of El Pavotti, a.k.a. Andy, are not necessarily the views represented by the Toffee TV Corporation.
I was on Radio...
Corporation?
I was on Radio City Talk this morning, and Steve Hollisall just couldn't get into his head what was going on.
Did you have the sort of stuff?
He was... and I just said, I can't say money laundering on air, can I?
You just said it.
No, that's got nothing to do with this. I just said I can't say that on air. No. But he just couldn't get his head around why anyone was give 30 million. I was like...
Because it's an option, isn't it? He's not
going
to win the bid. He's not going to win the bid and win, by the way, for people who can't see.
Listen,
I said to him, do you not remember when Liverpool got a kit deal called Warrior?
That wasn't real.
That wasn't real. That literally, John Henry just went...
I like the name Warrior. And they signed Fellaini just to make it look kosher because they play for them,
Exactly. So
everyone does it. Listen, options on things aren't a new thing. Clubs pay money for options on players.
Did you, yeah?
So...
They do it all the time.
Well, they do it, and they've got no interest in half of them. So they're getting money for it. So, listen, it's been done. It's been passed by the Premier League and FFP. Otherwise, Everton wouldn't have been able... Well, it's been passed by the auditors, which is the most important thing. You wouldn't have been able to be referenced.
FFP. We've got 94 million, which
94.4 million, 11 million under it, which is fine. Obviously, the losses, it's been reported that, one of them today's like... as if we're shocked by it,
I think people knew 6 months ago, didn't they?
Well, of course they knew, and the spending shows, and hence why sponsorship deals are vital.
And they're getting renewed for change, aren't they?
But changing this summer, there'll be more coming in. Chelsea, this is a week where Chelsea lost £100 million, despite having 247 million put in by Roman Abramovich, as well as everything else. But that's just, Chelsea lost that.
Yeah.
And that it's like skated over. So Everton were quite calm with it. Another big thing that I suppose come out of it, if you want to look at it this way, was the actual debt to other people at the football club has now gone down to 9 million from 52 million, so, or whatever it was, 59 million. That obviously has gone into Farhad Moshiri, but it's equity for him. Well,
under Bill Kerr, a number of years, I know obviously it was a different situation. I think we were 90 million in debt, that was the highest.
Yeah. Well, so we were paying ridiculous interest rates as well, and it was impinging on us being able to do any kind of other deals because of it. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Is that you do when you've got bad debt, so to speak. It's like anything. Yeah. It's why you see these adverts on the telly and the APRs 1,000% and 3,000, because someone will always lend you money. It just depends on what the cost is of getting it back, and by reducing the debt, Everton are allowed to get more favourable loans. Every club gets loans with the exception of probably City, but even they do. I've seen them moving money around.
Clubs are paying them over 5 years. They'll go to a bank and say, "We'll take 10 million less than roads. You give us the money now."
It's all moved around. It's just that the Everton fan base, or maybe it's just because we know it because it's us, seem to take more interest in that than anything else.
Well, funny enough, I remember.
But every club might do this.
Yeah, no. I was saying that. Funny enough, on a podcast I was listening to recently, someone said that Everton have got the most analysts per fan, in the sense that we have got a lot of people who work in football, who study finance in different sectors. So yeah, we have got a fan base who's very focused on what Everton are doing. I suppose it's good and bad in a sense, because obviously a lot of fans panic. But
one of the things I liked was the reiteration. It's easy to reiterate stuff, but the fact that the main goal is to get Everton back to the top of the pile. Whether they get there is another thing, but having that ambition, I think if you continue to reiterate that ambition and put it out there, people can hold you accountable to that.
I think it's one thing at a time, isn't it? We were sitting here, and I actually said to you while we were there, this time next year we could be looking at these screens and seeing building work, pictures of building work, and that's the difference, isn't it? It's that it could have been well started by then. We could be 6 months down the line, and I think as soon as we get to that point, everyone, again, we've spoken in the first part about Carlo Ancelotti and having the patience and being a calm thing. As soon as people, everything hopefully goes to plan and we start building this stadium, everyone will just chill out, and I think suddenly people will look at it and go, well, that's the first thing overcome that we never thought was actually going to happen.
Yeah.
And so the next thing, is that achievable, or can we get the Champions League? I think this is the problem, is people can't focus on two things at once because they don't think the first thing is achievable because we've been let down before. And if we everything last night was at the AGM, when we're talking about the stadium, it's all soon as we're ready to go. It's not.
It's all the future.
It's not.
Isn't it?
It's not. Nothing is like where we might be getting the stadium. It's like we are getting the stadium, and as soon as that actually happens, and I think they're very conscious of the situation with the government and being called in because it's a big stadium and a big plan.
Big money.
But they've prepared for it, and even going as far as saying Farhad Moshiri's not here because he's out negotiating, and talking about the 2 banks that they've spoken to, who are...
one's JP Morgan, which is
the biggest bank in the world,
and the fact that they're talking to them, they're talking to them about how they raise the money and because what people...
The best deal.
No, but what you don't just lend...
It's best interest rate, isn't it, really?
But it's not even about that. It's not. You don't just lend 500 million and go, we'll give you whatever it is.
No, it's how the infrastructure...
It's how the infrastructure about it. Like, if someone... it's effectively like someone buying into it. You know, you could get a company out there who could go, well, I'll give you this much, but I want the rights to... whatever it is at the ground, something to do with their...
car machines.
Well, Derby
anything.
Derby County.
The car park.
Derby County have done, haven't they? They created another company.
They bought their own stadium.
They bought their own stadium, Sheffield Wednesday.
They're going to be fined heavily for doing it.
Yeah, but that's what you can do. You can create another company. So, essentially, Alisher Usmanov,
he's underwriting any loan.
Any of his company can go... right, we'll buy the stadium now, and then that's different.
But the other thing about that is though,
underwrite the loans. For
no, but why would you? But this is one thing that another thing that you don't always want that though, because if that was the case, the share would be one of his companies. Why have one of his companies doing it when someone else's company?
No, what I'm saying about is if you could get 3 companies buying into that thing, that's why the likes of JP Morgan, who are experts on it, will be saying.
But also, you basically paid credit off to one of the biggest banks in the world, and we lost, I think, the Chinese bank.
We just decided there was better options.
We had a couple of years ago, not with Minshall, we had bad credit rate with certain banks, didn't we? And I think if you do go with a big name bank, it gives you a lot of gravitas in the financial world that you obviously get paying them back.
Well, they put a graphic up of all the banks we've been talking to and everyone we've been dealing with, and they were the biggest banks in the world. And
not Standard Chartered, though.
No, not Standard Chartered. These are long-term commitments as well. It's not a case of, your mortgage. It's like it's ongoing for different things, whether it be your transfers, whether it be your buildings, your stadiums, whatever. So they went through all that, and I just, again, it's
when, not if. That's the big thing.
It's when people keep on saying, oh, is it going to happen? No, it can't happen. Or this or that. There's this in the way, that in the way. And you're just like, why would you spend all this money? Why would you go into all this for a PR operation? I just hope by this time next year, with spade in the ground,
we will.
Everyone can just go, it's there now.
Yeah, you'll see frameworks going up. Well. You'll be frameworks going up. You've got a world-class manager. Hopefully the players will continue to develop. We'll have better players in, and everyone then will start to trust the whole thing, because that's what we need.
I did like as well, they did a little bit of graphic on the young players who pretend. I think they had Gordon, and I know Brand said he's the one who's close. I think the plan is for Gibson, Adelaide, and to go yeah. I think it also says to people who are, I think Neil put it up on Twitter tonight. We've got the oldest squad again, and then under 23s again. We played 6 players over the age of 19, and I think them lads need to realise that their time at Everton, and for their own careers, not because we don't want them here, it's for their own careers. They need to go out and play somewhere, and instead, Everton need to look at the developments. I think Brands will do that.
Well, we've seen Harry Charles released this week.
Charity's gone, has he?
He's gone. That's
obviously Branthwaite brought in.
We've got Jared Branthwaite brought in, 17-year-old centre-back.
But the presentation by Brands was excellent as well, going away from the fact. It was good to do something like that. It was good to have, almost like a proper presentation and how the team's going forward. And he spoke about how he's brought these working groups together to go through the different... They've got a lone working group as well. So they're obviously going through all the different things. It's just taking time to piece it all together. And hopefully, again, this next 12 months, from this AGM to the next one, we'll get to the next one, and all these things will be finally in place. And a lot of these, the older players will have left, and a lot. It'll just be more balanced, I hope.
And I think the criticism that Tom Cannon levelled at the director of football model was a good thing, because again it's spotlight on it, and therefore we could get some evidence within the next 12 months of what is actually happening. If we stand there again and people are going, what's actually happening?
What did he think? What did he say he's not doing as a director of football out of interest?
Well, it was all about the scouting network and things like that. What's happening with the scouting and what's happening with...
Why is he going to reveal it, the scouting network?
No, but I think he was asking the question of, are these changes taking place? And Brands did, well, that's what Ped's saying. Brands did say, this is why we have these meetings now, and got a loan thing.
What he said was, like, why aren't we finding these players that we found when we had no money? That's essentially what he said.
That was it.
Well, I think we could go on a 20-minute hour. I'm not going to get into that, but I understand that, and somebody works in that part, so I agree.
No,
I suppose the issue for Everton as well is, and this is why I think the appetite for risk, I think, is quite lower at the moment for Everton because of all the bad transfers over the last couple of years. And I think once we get away from that, then we'll start to. I know people look at Minamino for them over the road there, and that's the type of transfer we wish we were making. I agree with that. And hopefully we'll start doing them deals. But Marcel Brands is not immune from criticism because I think people would have expected at least the youth sets up to it. So there's other issues with that, which obviously
I think he was talking about there was a conflict of interest as well.
Well,
the fact
majorly.
that with Brands being on the board, but
I get that though but then who else is the football man on that board? Bill Kenwright, you could say, but he's not a footballer man. He's been in football for a long time. Sasha, I don't know what Sasha does.
No, I disagree with that. I just think you need someone there who can represent the football side of it.
How many deals he say? I mean, 70 since he's been
70 since he's been.
And people go, we've spent 200 million since he came in. But how many players do we get for 200 million? It's not like we've got 4 and then 4 players have been bad. There's a lot of players. The average spend, I think, per player is probably about 20-25 million. Yeah, you've got a lot of players for that money. Yeah,
he's recoup money as well. But no, there was some good points. Other bits were fluff, the review of the year was just candy, and 80% of it was Everton in the
off the singing section.
It's awful though. Every year, it's like showing you all these boss things that we've done, and we haven't done any boss things. That's the top and bottom.
That's free schools pretty good.
No, it's not though. It's not Everton. It's got nothing to do with Everton.
No, it's the charity that's
it's Everton in the community. It's got nothing to do with Everton. And every year it's the same nonsense. Stop talking about all the stuff we do away from footy and start looking at the things we do.
Would you like them to bring out DVDs again? Let's be honest, we wouldn't.
No, but it just drives me mad.
I think when you're showing the fluffy stuff, just have a 2 or 3 minute video.
Don't have a video.
No, but they're gonna do it. They're always gonna do it. They're always gonna do it, and they're gonna do it.
Community.
They're gonna do it, right? Because they're gonna say, no, but you've always got to have something of. The criticism's there with the losses. You've got to have something to say. This is what we did well.
Vladimir Putin's friends.
What you got to remember is though. The thing about what you got to remember is though. What's your audience? These are all shareholders who do not care about that stuff. We were there, it's right though. It's not a meeting for everyday fans. These are shareholders who
part of the company,
who are part of the company. They don't care about that stuff. That means nothing to them. If you were a shareholder of a normal company and they started putting all this fluffy stuff up, you'd be like, did any of this stuff make me any money? I know it's not about making money because that's not why you buy a share in Everton, but you go and go, what's that got to do? That's not even the same company. What's that got to do with us? I just think it's nonsense, utter nonsense, and we have to get away from that kind of stuff.
One thing he did say, which for a shareholder's perspective, is they're going to have smaller meetings with them and Q&As. I think what they need to do is the Q&As were more important than that other stuff, because you're getting direct answers.
And if you're in a smaller room and a smaller setting, you can it's more intimate. You can actually get into the nitty gritty.
I like the fact that there was one there, just didn't go on long enough, the Q&A, because I think when people are asking,
years ago didn't the Q&A, and I think that's the interesting bit. The Q&A is the most interesting bit, because as you say, get straight to the point, through the fluff. What's happening with this? What's happening? I think someone said how long it's Colin Chong, how long it's going to be, and he said about 13 weeks after it goes through the portal.
Well, the one about the guy who asked the question about was having a gambling sponsor was absolutely spot on. He said you've just put a brilliant presentation on about all the work we do in the community, and you've got a gambling sponsor, and he cut straight to the heart of it, because she didn't have a clue. She really didn't have a clue what to say. She had no clue.
She's going to investigate it.
No, she didn't have a clue.
It's money, isn't it?
She didn't have a clue. Because on one hand, she was like, well, Everton in the community, look how boss we are. On the other hand, she was like, they give us a lot of money. She couldn't. And that's the problem. You stick on the screen how great Everton in the community is, and then you go, and also we take 30 million off a gamma.
Companies like that, though.
No, but that's the point. Why have all that nonsense on the screen if you can't deal with the question? If you don't have all that stuff on the screen, you go, they give us 30 million. Come back when you find me someone else. But that's what a hard-nosed business would do.
Well, he asked that, are we a hard-nosed business or are we a community?
And she couldn't answer it. And that's the top one of it.
Business.
That's the what all red and cut where it could have been on the aisle all day.
It's true though, isn't it?
It is.
And noses like Jim Royal. Jim Royle, Ricky Tones.
Yeah,
I know Jim Royle is.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm just thinking.
You could be his stunt double.
Oh, you cheeky bleep, mother bleep, sort of.
His son. There you go.
That was the AGM.
And
the worst thing I ever got called, by the way, was John Parrott's son at a comedy show. Someone said, "Hey, there's John Parrott's son." He spent the next half an hour doing this to me.
On a comedy show?
So, they compare. He was giving it to the audience.
Who was it? Wasn't that Adam Rowe, was he?
I don't know people's names.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know people's names.
How dare you ask me that question?
Just go and see comedians that you don't know the name of.
It was the Royal Court thing. It was just like a random comedy show.
I mean, that's your fault for going to the Royal Court.
He did an impression of Craig from Big Brother. It was for the whole show almost. That's how old it was.
You mean he spoke like that for the whole time?
Shada.
I'm going to put
Shada.
a great bookcase.
And Callaran.
Yes.
Couldn't say Callaran.
This
week I am nominating Shada and Callaran.
Nick, why have you got pencils?
Nick, would you like me to knock up a bookcase
I
for you?
made a mistake. Bateman.
I love chickens and pencils.
There you go. This has been part 2.
This is Big Brother 2000, by the way. 20-year-old reference. The takeaway from the AGM, 30 million from us. Manav Brands is on the case, and we've got a pocket dynamite. Let's go. Next.
So Bronski beat. It's a Big Brother 2000s.
There you go.
Covered the 15 years.
With a bit of dynamite in the middle. There you go. Back in part 3. Welcome back to part 3 of the Toffee TV Podcast.
Sound like that woman who used to be on that Vic and Tipley, a mate with the blonde hair.
She's dead.
Oh.
She died.
She died, yeah.
She died.
Oh, God.
Why have you got to be like that?
Oh, sorry.
Hey, you could be the Vicar of Dibley stunt.
Nah, you're just being offensive.
I mean, I was going to say shade the beer, but you know, she was having problems at the time. So
I don't fancy Lenny Henry either.
No, this is she.
Neither does she.
What?
She binned them.
She's lost about 30 stone and
She
binned
binned
them.
them.
He's gone.
I mean,
haven't you seen him? He's literally sleeping in every hotel, telling you how good the beds are in the Premier Inn. That's where he's gone.
That's a cry for help. That's a cry for help. He's sitting there going, the Premier Inn is great. They have all day breakfast. Oh.
I have a great night's sleep.
She took the kids. She turned her against me. I've seen that video with Limmy.
He's an offensive man.
Oh, she took the... Turn the wheels against me.
Lenny Henry references?
No, that's not Lenny Henry reference, is it?
Lemmy?
No, nothing. See him in Doctor Who?
Who?
Lenny Henry.
Who?
He's the baddie in Doctor Who.
Was he?
Yeah.
There you go.
He's been in a few things lately.
He was
Have it.
Yeah.
That's a starring role.
Well, he's a Knight of the Realm now.
He's not been in Dawn Friends,
what
has
he
he?
wants.
That's one thing.
I've heard
for
he
sure.
can ride into Shrewsbury on a Wednesday and take any milf he wants.
Nah. Not when the Minshalls are in town.
Not when the
Minshalls.
Not when
The
Billy.
Dead Shrews Company.
Billy's over there sitting there monitoring the podcast, thinking what he's going to do this week when Liverpool come to town.
He's clapping
Honest to God, he's going to be in the standing area.
He's going to be in the Shrewsbury Massive.
With the flare. Him and his brother George, the Minshalls, they run Shrewsbury, if you don't know this, by the way. The Minshall brothers, George and Billy. I mean, it's
already.
Ross Kemp is coming down on Sunday.
He might be there Sunday
to monitor the Minshalls.
He's going down. He's going to go and have a. He's going to go and have a Mackey's in the retail park. Check out the milks.
Is this the only thing that you've seen? Is the Mackey's?
And he's gonna.
That's the only thing. Listen, you go to Shrewsbury. The only thing you want to see is the Mackey's on the retail,
and not the safe standing section.
We were in the safe standing section. It sounds very nice. He's going to bounce round. The Minshalls will be there, and off it'll go. Yeah. Hopefully they'll knock Liverpool out.
You know the Minshalls, they're the kind, we've said this before, they're the kind of lads that at Christmas have the bucket outside the Yates, shaking it when people are walking in. You ain't getting in unless you put a couple of quid.
You've got to put the...
Ernie Shavers wasn't there.
He was on the door, remember?
With old Ernie,
yeah.
On the door, Yates and Queen's.
Knocking people out left, right and centre.
Steady, wasn't he? Queen's Square.
The
weekend we go to West Ham.
The
Moyes derby.
Yeah.
Last time he played them
he calls West Ham Everton, so you know it's the Everton game, isn't it?
He did. They beat us 3-1 last time we played his West Ham team down there.
We did have Sam Allardyce.
We had Big Sam. They had Moyes.
He rolled over.
It was a classic game of football. Umani Ash scored.
The ball didn't touch the ground for 10 minutes.
But
Pickford threw a couple in.
So
classic Everton.
Not much has changed. When we went there last year, it was one of our best performances of the season. 2-0.
Well, it was
2-0.
2-0.
No, it's 4-0 Man United, sorry.
It was our best away performance of the season.
We actually
it
haven't.
wasn't
It was
hard.
our best away performance for a good few years.
We should have beat them 8-0, clearly.
We should have.
We should have beat them more than 1 or 2 when they came to our place in October.
No. Yeah. But we were superb there last year. Gomez was absolutely brilliant, and Bernard and Coleman had a really good game, and we missed good opportunities. Could have been, you're right, could have been 6 or 7. When BT is saying it was 2 and it could have really been 10, you know that Everton must have played all right, because they don't give Everton any credit. But, it'll be a tough game just because it will be, because away from home, we're not great, are we?
He'll get them organised.
And he'll get them fired up. Philippe Anderson, who we thought was out, looks like he's going to play. But Fabianski's out.
Yeah, that's
They signed Darren Randolph, haven't they? That's going through.
Is it going through?
It's gone through, yeah.
Has it, yeah?
Gone through, yeah.
I'm devastated then that Darren Randolph's in goal.
No, Republic of Ireland international Darren Randolph.
You know what, he's all right, but
right,
you can't. Fabianski's a better goalkeeper, isn't he? So, but it'll be a tough game. But you know what? It's one of those games, a game where if Everton, a bit like Newcastle, if we can go down there and get the first goal and build from there, West Ham fans, the miles away from the pitch, which I think why a lot of teams do all right there, because at Upton Park, even though Everton's record was brilliant at Upton Park, they were right on top of the crowd, weren't they? Were there. It's a little bit like
half of them facing the long jump pit, aren't they?
That's the thing, isn't it? And
the sight lines are awful.
There's an Olympic flame in between.
Seb Cole's just there.
Paul just in the middle of the pitch.
And in the other corner there's the Dildo Brothers, loving it. So it's a game we can win. It's a one. I know people are saying we have to go and win it. We've got to take something from it. That's the way I look at it. 3 points is not a must. It'd be lovely to get the 3 points, and then that'll build the momentum for Newcastle and next week. But just avoid defeat at the very least. Continue to rack the points up.
Especially away, yeah. We've had so many problems over the last 4 or 5 years, haven't we? You need to start winning games away.
But these are the ones, if we can get back-to-back victories, just mentioned there, Newcastle, it's Tuesday, isn't it?
Tuesday.
So if we can get back-to-back victories, if we could get that, 3 wins on a row, then, that's when you start thinking, that's when Europe suddenly becomes possibility. And you're not. I'm not saying we're looking behind us now, but you are firmly looking up. You're in the top half of the table. We won back-to-back games, we'd be in the top half of the table.
And players relax then, because
everyone
you're chasing a different
goal,
aren't you?
Pressure's different then. You're looking. You've got a goal then as well. You're not just trying to get away from something. The season's not just petering out. You've got a goal to go for.
And let's be honest, these are fourth from bottom, aren't they?
Yeah,
so when you look at that and go, well, they're a team that's fourth from bottom, and we're trying to fight for a European place, maybe, or we're certainly trying to fight to finish as high as we can. These are games you have to go and try to win, and it's about, like you say, the interesting thing will be the team selection will be the centre of the park. Personally, I think he's probably got to go with the 2 lads that played in the centre of the park last week. I think Sigurdsson will play. As much as I'd like to see him off the team at the moment because he's not playing well enough, I think he'll play. And I think you have to play Tom Davies because he's
more defensively and bring Schneiderlin back in. That's the issue.
I don't think he will.
And he may not, but I think that's a thought that could happen.
If he does that, then I'd like us to just go back to front quickly, then and play 4-2-4 and just bang it long and miss the midfield, because we can't try to get into a midfield battle with them, because their midfield's not quick. Noble, Rice aren't quick.
No.
So you won't lose out that way. But the reason why we should have beat them more at Goodison in October was because we had Iwobi in there, we had Davis in there, we had Gomez in there, and all 3 were getting around the pitch, and Declan Rice spent the afternoon not knowing where any of them were. And Noble was, again, more worried about his Brexit bills than he was about the game. So for Everton, that's a real opportunity again at the weekend to go out and get 3 points. Tough game, but go out and get 3 points. In a game that you would look at and go, we should be winning, really. If our aspirations are the top 8, let's leave it at that at the moment, then this is a game we should win.
You've got to kick on, haven't you? This is now the stage to kick on. Again, another full week of preparation under Carlo, and hopefully it's another week for players to get some rest, some players to try and get closer to the first team. And these are the games, aren't they? West Ham away. You don't look at that and with massive trepidation. You look at that thinking, that's somewhere we can go. And we've got to start winning more away games, because again, that's we know we're always going to be good at home. It's the away games that we've always suffered on that have stopped us getting into those, recently getting into the top 6. So I look at them and I think, yeah, Anderson, I like him. Moyes has moved them further forward.
3-4-3 now.
Makes sense. Seb Haller, obviously he's a good player. They haven't been getting the service to him, but with Anderson, they probably a better chance. But you're right, at the back, they're slow. The goalkeeper, not great if it's not Fabianski, and in the centre of the park, and it's about matching them and then having that little bit extra, hoping that people like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison are at it and take the chances, because we'll get chances. Of course we will. And again, it's that first goal. If we can get that first goal, you mentioned the crowd. They don't like their ground. I mean,
they're not happy, are they? Not a happy fan base, and they're ready to turn at the best of times. So it's about putting them under pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, he's talked about, just before we finish, he's talked about rotating the centre backs again this week and saying it might be Holgate that misses out this week. I think we need him. I think if Anderson's gonna play, we need Holgate in that
especially
side.
Especially plays, yeah.
You know, so I wouldn't be. I mean, he might have just been saying that last week,
but keep it on the toes, maybe. Yeah.
Or if he wants to play Mina and Keane, then put Holgate in midfield and have some legs
or
in
right
there.
Back and play forward, yeah.
So.
We'll wait and see.
Winnable game.
Definitely winnable game, and obviously heading with the Newcastle game Tuesday as well, which is another winnable game. So hopefully, if we can get at least 4 points out of the 2 games, and keep everything ticking over ahead of our break because of the FA Cup, then things will be looking a lot rosier, and we'll be looking forward to what comes after that with a lot more than we have been during the
it's Watford then, isn't it, after that? Watford away.
Yeah.
So
Watford, yeah.
So another one.
There you go. So looking forward to that on Saturday.
Good. Do it.
3. That's it. Just go
3
win the
o'clock.
game. Go and win the game. Carlo's Army.
That's right.
There you go. This has been the Toffee TV podcast. We'll be back next week.
We will.
I imagine.
Well, we will.
Unless it's the apocalypse.
Well, that supernova, as I said to you, it could blow up in the next 100,000 years, so I'll keep my eye on that.
So it's 1 in 100,000 chance it could be this year?
I don't know. No, I don't.
I mean, that would.
What's the XG on the supernova?
That would be ahead of time.
What was it?
1.36.
I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means.
I get a chance that's 1.36, to be fair. Not. We'll talk about it.
What are you talking about? Just know what, right? Just stick to the acting.
He's thinking about his next acting role.
Stick to your acting and we'll all be alright.
XG, me
ass. Barbara! What's the XG of me undies? There you
go. Say
goodbye
to Peg, because after this show...
Samuel Tarly is livid.
I've hired the Minshalls and Ross Kemp.
And Phil Forsome.
Phil Forsome? Who's Phil Forsome? He sounds like a really dodgy golfer.
And
Phil Forsome.
Phil to make a Forsome. Phil Mitchell. Minshall. No,
are you on crack? We'll be back next week. Bye.
See you later.
I hate you.